In every sport, there's a name that defines an entire era of greatness. In basketball, it's Michael Jordan. In baseball, it's Babe Ruth. And in the high-speed, high-stakes world of barrel racing, that name is Charmayne. We're talking about 11 world championships with an unbelievable 10 in a row. She became the first woman to out-earn every cowboy in the sport, and she did it with a horse she trained herself, a horse nobody even wanted. But her rise wasn't built in comfort. It began in a championship run where she found herself flying around the barrels on a 1,000-pound horse with no way to steer and no way to stop. That decade of dominance made her a legend. But one question always followed. Was it her or was it the horse? Before we break it down, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the full story. Long before the stadium lights and the championship buckles, Charmayne James was just a horse-crazy kid living in the quiet, dusty town of Clayton, New Mexico. By the time she was 3 years old, she was already riding, and by age 6, she was running barrels. For young Charmayne, it wasn't just a fun hobby. It was everything. She later admitted, "All I thought about night and day was riding horses." Her dad, Charlie, managed a cattle feedlot, a tough environment that taught her about hard work and responsibility from day one. He saw his daughter's incredible passion and talent, so he made her a deal that would shape her entire life. Charmayne's dad said, "If you want to rodeo, you have to earn it." This statement lit a fire inside her. The first real partner in the arena was a horse named Bardo. They were a great team, tearing up the local amateur rodeos for 2 years. But tragedy struck when Bardo suffered a severe leg injury and had to be put down. For a young girl, losing her best horse, it felt like her dream was over before it even started. However, fate had other plans. In 1982, a cowboy who worked for her father decided to sell his horses. Among them was a bay gelding named Gill's Bay Boy. He was far from a dream horse. In fact, he was a problem horse with a bad reputation. He was known for being difficult and untrusting, and had even bucked off a previous owner so badly he ended up in the hospital. But Charmayne's dad bought him anyway, not for barrel, but for the gritty work in his feedlot. Charmayne, being foresighted, saw something in this horse that no one else did. She looked past his reputation and saw a spark of potential. He was not very trusting at all, she remembered, but he loved me. He just needed someone to trust. With incredible patience, she started the slow process of earning his trust. She would mix long days of feedlot work with drills around the barrel pattern, building a bond day by day. One afternoon, her dad watched him practice, amazed at how the horse gracefully moved around the barrels. He remarked, "He sure wants to scamper around those barrels." From that moment, the nickname stuck. The $1,200 feedlot reject was now and forever known as Scamper. Just 2 weeks after she started working with him, she took him to a small local competition. They didn't just win their junior race. Their time was the third fastest of the entire event, beating out adults with years of experience. At that moment, Charmayne knew she had something special. She was about to show the world that you could take something nobody else believed in and turn it into something legendary. In 1983, at just 13 years old, Charmayne decided she was ready for the big leagues. She earned her professional license for the Women's Professional Rodeo Association, which meant she could now officially compete against the best in the world. Her rookie season in 1984 was nothing short of a revolution. At 14 years old, an age when most kids are just starting high school, Charmayne and Scamper didn't just compete, they took over. They blasted through the pro rodeo circuit, leaving seasoned veterans in the dust. They were the talk of the town when they arrived at the NFR, and by the time the event was over, the rodeo world was in shock. This teenager had won the NFR average title, which is awarded for the best total time over all 10 rounds of the competition. She was crowned the 1984 WPRA Rookie of the Year, and most incredibly, she won her first WPRA World Championship. Her earnings of over $53,000 that year were a fortune for a barrel racer at the time. Then came 1985. The NFR had moved to Las Vegas under the bright lights of the Thomas and Mack Center. In the 7th round of the finals on Friday, December 13th, a date rodeo fans would never forget, the impossible happened. As Charmayne and Scamper waited at the gate for their run, Scamper brushed against a cement wall. It didn't look like a big deal, but that small bump broke a tiny piece of metal that held his bridle together. As they charged full speed into the arena, the bridle came apart. The leather headstock actually flew up and hit Charmayne right under the eye, a sharp, sudden blow that told her something was terribly wrong. By the time she processed what had happened, they were already thundering towards the first barrel. There was no stopping, and Scamper was locked in on his job. They flew around the first barrel, then the second, with the broken bridle hanging between Scamper's front legs. As they came around the third and final barrel, the bit dropped right out of Scamper's mouth. To the shocked crowd, it looked like he had spit it out. He was running completely free. No bit, no reins, and no way for Charmayne to guide him. She was just hanging on for her dear life. Any other horse would have panicked, but not Scamper. His ears were pinned back, his eyes locked in on the finish line, his focus unshakable. Charmayne put all her trust in him, and together they flew across the time. The clock stopped at 14.4 seconds. The arena exploded with cheers. They won the round and sealed their second world championship in a row. It became one of rodeo's most unforgettable stories of the bond between a girl and her horse. But that mind-blowing run was a sign of what was to come. In 1986, they completely rewrote the financial record books. Charmayne became the first single-event athlete in professional rodeo history to earn over $100,000 in a single season, bringing home an incredible $151,969. 1987 brought another historic moment that sent shockwaves through the sport. Charmayne became the first woman ever to wear the coveted #1 back number at the NFR. That number is reserved for the athlete who earned the most money across all events during the regular season. In a traditionally male-dominated sport, a female barrel racer had officially become the top earner in the entire world of professional rodeo. She then backed it up by winning her 4th world championship. But this streak continued. In 1988, they won their 5th world title, once again earning more money than the men's all-around world champion. At this point, people in the rodeo world stopped asking if she would win and started asking by how much. But the truth is, some wins didn't come easy. In 1989, they faced a difficult challenge at the NFR. Right at the start of the 10-day competition, Scamper suffered a painful cut on his leg. The injury forced Charmayne to change his entire routine and cost them time and money in the early rounds. For the first time in years, the winning streak seemed like it could be in danger. But they battled through it, and by the end of the 10 days, they had secured their 6th consecutive world championship. By 1990, Charmayne and Scamper officially crossed the $1 million mark in career earnings. This was an unheard of amount of money for a barrel racer, especially since equal pay between men's and women's events at the NFR was still years away. But she kept winning for 9 straight years. That's insane, man. This all led to a high-pressure NFR in 1993. Charmayne was aiming for a historic 10th consecutive world championship. More than that, she wanted to retire her legendary partner while he was still at the very top of his game, so they needed a clean run to win it all. With the weight of history on their shoulders, they delivered a perfect performance. They won the 10th World Championship. Scamper's legacy was sealed. He retired as a 10-time undefeated champion. Charmayne admitted, "I owe all my success to Scamper. I guess we got confident together. Scamper has taught me a lot. There will never be another like him. Never." After Scamper's retirement in 1993, folks started asking, was it the horse or was it her? Some claim that while Charmayne was a great rider, Scamper was a once-in-a-lifetime horse, and that kind of win couldn't be repeated. For years, Charmayne continued to compete and win on other horses, but that 11th world title remained just out of reach. With each passing year, the doubters grew more confident, suggesting that the Charmayne James dynasty had ended when Scamper left the arena. But later on, Charmayne found a horse, Cruiser. Just like she did with Scamper those years ago, she poured her time, patience, and unmatched skill into this new horse, training him from the ground up. Then came the 2002 rodeo season. Charmayne and Cruiser qualified for the NFR and arrived in Las Vegas ready to make a statement. Over the next 10 days, Charmayne delivered a masterclass in horsemanship that silenced every single doubter. As one sports writer put it, anybody who doubted her abilities, she just proved her abilities by winning with another horse. Charmayne expertly guided Cruiser through 10 perfect rounds. They dominated the competition, winning not only the NFR average title, but also her 11th WPRA World Barrel Racing Championship. After winning her 11th title, Charmayne officially retired from full-time competition in 2003. But her impact on the sport was far from over. She began a new chapter, becoming a mentor and a teacher to the next generation. Her Charmayne James barrel racing clinics became famous around the world. She traveled across countries sharing the knowledge that made her a legend. Her commitment to growing the sport led to a major partnership with the National Barrel Horse Association, where she serves as a global ambassador, helping to shape the future of the sport she loves. Even in retirement, her first partner, Scamper, was never far from her mind. He was inducted into the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame in 1996 and lived a happy life until he passed away in 2012. Charmayne wanted his legacy to live on, but since he was a gelding and couldn't have offspring, Charmayne turned to science and paid $150,000 to have Scamper cloned. In 2006, a colt named Clayton was born, a perfect genetic duplicate of the original champion. While clone horses can't be registered with the American Quarter Horse Association, they can still compete and breed. Through Clayton, the genetics of the greatest barrel racing horse of all time could be passed down, a bond so powerful that not even death could be the end. From a 14-year-old rookie to the undisputed queen of rodeo, Charmayne James didn't just set records, she became the standard for greatness. Her legacy is really twofold. First, as a fierce competitor with 11 world titles, a bridleless run for the ages, and a career that broke down barriers. And second, as a dedicated teacher and ambassador who now builds up new champions. She took a $1,200 horse nobody wanted and made him a legend. Then, when the world doubted her, she did it all over again. Her story is a powerful reminder that with hard work and an unbreakable bond, anything is possible. So, what do you think is the most incredible part of her career? Was it the legendary bridleless run, winning that 11th title to prove the critics wrong, or the decision to clone Scamper? Let us know what you think in the comments. And if you love hearing about the legends who shaped rodeo, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss the next video. We'll see you in the next one.